It's the International Soccer Preview. We are Soccerphiles Canada. Welcome to Series 30, looking at the players of the 2025 Gold Cup. This episode is looking at the players of Mexico. Part 1, the candidates. Here we go. Welcome new listeners actually to Section 3 here, which we're also releasing as a short version of Part 1 on Mexico's players. For you guys, in the full version, we introduced the candidate and the candidates and their likelihood of making the final squad. And we also talked about who's been occupying each position. So for those just listening to the short version, you're welcome to go and look at the full version for the reasons for our predictions here. And for those who have watched Part 1, this is basically just a review summary. We're not going to concern ourselves with predicting starters at this point, but we're going to do that in Part 2. So here we're going to review it's not a review of starters, it's a review of candidates. We're going to review any injuries that we are aware of and any closing thoughts that we have. So let's go back to the top of our list and review it. We begin with the manager. So we have outgoing manager. Let me get the graphics right here. We have outgoing manager Jaime Lozano, who led them through the previous two tournaments, but was let go after the miserable 2024 Copa America. Now we have Javier Aguirre in his third stint as Mexico manager, leading them through this tournament. Or we consider him likely to definite. We don't think they'll change him before. Goalkeepers, we have a definite candidate in Luis Malagon and a likely candidate in Raul Rangel, and then possible candidates in Guillermo Ochoa, Julio Gonzalez, and Carlos Moreno. So there is a chance of veteran Guillermo Ochoa coming back into the squad. For defenders, we look at the central defense with definite candidates Johan Vasquez and Cesar Montes. So definite, by the way, here means that we definitely think they'll be selected for the final squad. That's what we're talking about here. Likely is Israel Reyes, although he may play as a right back. And then possible candidates Jesus Orozco, Ramon Juarez, and Victor Guzman. Those are the main candidates. At left back, we have a definite candidate in Jesus Gallardo and a likely candidate in Jesus Alberto Angulo, and a possible candidate there in Brian Gonzalez. At the right back position, as we said, central defender, Israel Reyes looks like the most likely candidate at this point, but we also have possible candidates Jorge Sanchez and Julian Araujo. So Jorge Sanchez is kind of the first of three players who it's a bit surprising to see at the possible level and not a little bit higher when we get to right attacker and left attacker. We'll meet the other two. Of course, for all of these positions, we have some possible but unlikely players and players who are seemingly off the squad, but might surprise us and come back, but we're not introducing them in this review. Defensive or with the midfield in general is a bit messy for Mexico. Most of them are coded as central midfielders, but they play all over the place. So we tried to kind of parse it out here a little bit. So we put Luis Chavez, a versatile midfielder. He's a definite candidate. For defensive midfield, the top candidate there is Captain Edson Alvarez, but we also have a possible candidate in Eric Lira, who has no tournament experience, and that's why his name is in light gray on the YouTube graphic there. We also separated out left midfielders and right midfielders to try to harness this situation. So we end up with possible candidate Diego Lainez as a left midfielder, and on the right, possible candidates Rodrigo Huescas and Eric Sanchez. Yes, and then central midfielders, We have definite candidates, Luis Romo and Carlos Alberto Rodriguez, probably more of a substitute role for him, though. Um, Attacking midfielders, if they use the 4-2-3-1 formation, we think that is a definite candidate. Orbelin Pineda, although he might appear kind of anywhere in the midfield or even attacking midfield, really. Orbelin Pineda, he's the only one there, though. Oh, no, we put him as a versatile attacker because he might appear anywhere. On the left attackers, that would include left attacking winger, left attacking midfielder, or even left forward in a 4-3-3 formation. We have a definite candidate, at least to make the squad, in Cesar Huerta. And two likely candidates, Julian Quinones and Alexis Vega. We need a bit more light to be shed to see who's going to be the starter. But again, we're not concerning ourselves with that here. We also have a possible candidate in Irving Lozano, which is a bit of a surprise to me, but there we have it. Based on his recent participation, we could only put him at the possible level. For right attackers, we have no definite candidate, but a likely candidate in Roberto Alvarado, and then possible candidates in Uriel Antuna and Jordi Cortizo. Uriel Antuna just at the possible level, also a bit of a surprise to me, but hasn't participated that much recently. Central attackers, where's Orbelin Pineda here? He's probably the most likely to be at least a starter in that position, but we dealt with him as a versatile attacker. We're left with three possible candidates here, Efrain Alvarez, Marcelo Flores, and Alexis Gutierrez. And then in the forward line, we have no candidates coded as secondary strikers. So we have just the forwards, two definite candidates there in Raul Jimenez and Santiago Jimenez. And then we go no candidates at the likely level. We go to possible level for Henry Martin and Guillermo Martinez. Okay, so we will get more clarification on this, perhaps from the two friendlies before the tournament. So we're going to do part two when we know who is selected for the preliminary and final squad, and maybe get more insight into who is going to be starters. The other things we're doing in this closing section is a review of injuries, and actually there are none for Mexico. No players on the injury list to keep an eye on. So any injury concerns will be the ones between now and then. And we'll talk about that in part two. We do have some closing thoughts. I'll just save them for after we preview part two. So in part two, we're going to go through this list again and tell you which players made the preliminary and final squad. We'll be focusing a bit more on predicting who the starters are there too. We'll tell you who are the notable non-selections, who are the surprise inclusions and new players, and then we'll give any updates on injury up to that point. And yes, the closing thoughts here, I do want to talk about the possibility, because we have heard wind of teams not sending their best players to the tournament. So that might make all of our predictions here nonsense. But that is sometimes the case for the Gold Cup, especially the bigger teams. Actually, the top teams here have had an international tournament every year since 2021, which is a big burden on the players. The clubs certainly don't like it to have their players busy during the off season. Having said that, though, we think it would be logical for teams who are in the Cup or with ambitions to be in the 2026 World Cup to use this tournament as what's really their final good chance to prepare for the World Cup. Especially Mexico, Canada, and USA have no qualifying to be done for the Cup. So, this tournament is a good chance to kind of settle their squad and start to make some decisions. But it remains to be seen whether they see it that way. Because we have heard commentators say that we're not going to be seeing their best players at this tournament. Anyway, in this podcast, we can only outline the players that we would expect to see at the Cup. Or their top players. If teams don't send their top players, at least we'll know who's missing. I've often said that a good fan knows who the players are on the field, but a real fan knows the players who are not on the field. So there we have it. We'll see you in early June for part 2, and enjoy your talk. We would like to thank Future Bass for the wonderful music you hear in this podcast. The title is called Alone.